Mark Foster. Mr. Ron Perlman. Beautiful Dana Delaney. And equally beautiful Alona Tarr. Thank you guys. Okay, I warned you, you needed to be ready right now. So what we're looking for is great questions from you for all of the stars. If you don't ask any questions, I'm going to take over. And Dana, the character you play is a really strong woman in the show. How did you prepare for that?
Just be.
Let's wait.
Well, it's an interesting role because I think Ben has created these archetypal women, and that you think, oh, I know who that is, and then you realize, oh no, I don't know who that is. And there's all these layers that start unfolding with all of the women in the series. So as the series progresses, which you'll have to watch, you'll start seeing other sides of Crystal that reveal a bit more of where she came from, her rough edge, her survivor, and it goes to some interesting places.
Great. And Alona, so you've worked with people like Mark Wahlberg, you've worked with people like Russell Crowe. How's it like working with the real Hellboy?
Like heaven.
Please be nice.
You be nice. I mean, you see who this person is.
I see.
So this humor, this personality that came to work every day kind of set the tone for everybody. And I really have to admit, to have somebody like him leading the way, it set the tone for everybody else, not just for the actors, and for the crew, for everybody. And it was, I don't want to sound cliche, but it was a joy. It was fun. I was actually, oh, there's a lot of feedback. All right. The better. I wanted to have more scenes, but the scenes that we did have were pretty intense, so it's good to have a break a little bit. I don't enjoy spitting in your face, despite what everyone thinks. It wasn't fun.
I want to thank Mark Forrester for making sure that she spit in my face 35 times.
The funny story about that is we had a moment there where we had the perfect spit in the face shot. Everything went perfectly. The reaction was so natural, and we were ready to move on. And Alona came to Mark and she said, "Listen, I don't feel like I really got that one."
No, but the truth is, I was really hoping that they were going to give up that whole thing, and they were not going to let me. They were going to say, we decided it's too much. You're not going to spit in his face. And the thing is, I'd never done that before. So girls don't. We don't get over like we never learned how to spit. Sorry.
That's not what it said on your resume.
Good girls don't spit.
And the guys.
That's episode 3.
I'm not going to speak anymore. You're getting me in trouble, man.
So Alona's talked about working with you, Ron, and seriously, what a performance. But I hear...
I'm still there. I'm not past that.
I hear that this show really came about from another show you were working on coming to an end. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I got into this kind of addictive state from working on one of the early shows in the first sort of peel-off from network television, which was a show on FX called Sons of Anarchy. And I began to understand the effect that cable television was having on the expansiveness of storytelling, and how watching all these networks that wanted a piece of their action started merging, AMC and Sci-Fi, USA, and then all of a sudden you get these other players, Netflix and Hulu and finally Amazon, realize that the one thing that distinguished this particular moment in TV evolution from all the others is all this newfound competition, all of which was unfettered like network television because it wasn't advertising driven, so you could really be expansive with the storytelling. And then if you wanted to work in the most charged and original setting as a storyteller, it was going to be television. So the minute I knew Sons of Anarchy was coming to a close, I actively started wanting to keep the party rolling, and started reading scripts that were basically geared toward expanding the conversation. And one of the early ones I read was Hand of God, and I said, oh my God, this is even beyond what I could have imagined in terms of originality, a little bit dangerous, very controversial, tackling this discussion of religion and faith in a kind of an evangelical-based country. And it became an obsession to try to shepherd this thing to find a home and then ultimately get it up and running.
And Mark, you are the most respected directors on the planet right now, and yet Amazon says to you, I hear you, how about you make a pilot and we see what our customers have got to say? How did that play out?
Yeah, it was interesting. The three of us, Ron, Ben, and I, we went around town, around Hollywood, and were pitching Hand of God in the room, and then left the script, the pilot behind. And at the time, when it came to Amazon, it was really that Roy and Morgan in LA at Amazon said, look, we are going to back your vision, and we were in other rooms where people you could feel it in the room. If you've done this long enough, you pretty much know how to read people in the room, that certain topics scare them or they don't want to go there, and they're backing off. And my point was, if I'm going to do TV and my first series, I wanted to collaborate with someone like Ben, who is willing to push the buttons, and even when the series will go, we'll keep pushing them, and it was very important to me. At the same time, I felt if we're doing the pilot, and if we're doing it with Amazon, a part of the enthusiasm and the encouragement of keeping that vision controversial is that so people will see the pilot, and the audience will judge if they like the pilot or not. And I felt with other networks, we're making the pilot, and ultimately an executive will make a decision if it will go to series or not, and we will not have much influence on that. So I felt it's a better route, all of us, Ron, Ben, and I, to take the route with Amazon. And at that time, Amazon wasn't as sexy as they're now. That everybody, people called me up and said, "You're going with Amazon? Are you sure?" I mean, they haven't really done anything. And it was pre-transparent and pre-all, the shows, even Mozart and all the shows that they worked with them. And so everybody was a little skeptical, and then suddenly we said, no, that's what we felt feels right for this show, and they believe in it, and they are behind us. And it was the best decision we did, do it the whole way. Every time, I remember the first time we showed them the pilot, the cut was, I had to deliver contractually a cut under 60 minutes. And we showed them a cut that was 58 minutes, 30 seconds, and we got a call back and said, it feels a little short, why don't you add a few minutes? And you never hear back in Hollywood ever add some time to a pilot. Everybody says it's too long, cut it. And suddenly, we both, Ben and I were sitting there looking at us, this is like great news. Yeah. So that kind of experience, was really just so positive, and all around was one of the most satisfying creative experiences I had, and as a storyteller.
Yeah, I can echo that sentiment. I think in Hollywood, people say one thing and then they do another a lot, and Amazon Studios, one of the things they said was, we just want you to make the best version of this story that you can. And I have to admit, I thought they were lying. I was waiting, I spent a lot of time, even once we got greenlit to series, I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. They would get this call, they would say, oh, that's too risky. Oh, please tone it down. Oh, I don't know, And all along the way, the deciding factor in decisions to be made creatively was, is the vision specific, is the passion there? And so this was one of the few occasions where someone says something, they stay true to their word all the way through. And so by the end of the road, at the end of season 1, you have this situation where no matter what happens, you've made the show you wanted to make, and you're proud.
Dana, you've been in this industry a long time, a hugely successful career. Are you feeling the change in terms of how this industry is moving to streaming? And
Yeah, I signed on, when these guys did, and as they said, I knew Amazon was part of the future and I wanted to be part of it. And it's exciting because it's like making a film. You don't have to worry about having a serious moment before the act break. You can just flow your story. And yes, I mean, you can swear and you can smoke pot and you can get naked and all those fabulous things you want to do as an actor, but ultimately it comes down to the storytelling, and that's the most important thing, is just to tell a good story, and Amazon completely supports that.
Keeping it simple though, Ron, the first episode sees you dancing, singing naked in a fountain, speaking in tongues. Ever done that in real life?
Once on New Year's Eve. No, maybe more than once. No.
It's an incredible scene. Seriously, how did they get you to prep for that? Was that like a week of, yeah, we got him down to his pants, but he won't go more?
There's a fountain in San Pedro, which is where we shot it, which, I imagine, fountains are, you need to drink out of them, but they have this water effect. But this thing was a fucking mile and a half fountain. It had these water effects that were like straight out of a C.B. DeMille movie. And they said, don't worry about it, Ron, we're gonna heat the fountain for you. You're gonna get in there, it's gonna be comfortable, it's gonna be warm. And I look at the size of this thing, it's like 4 football stadiums. And I get in and it's not warm and it's not comfortable. And I'm starting to feel this shrinkage, which I'm already a little self-conscious. It's broad daylight. I'm hoping we don't have a license for this location, that they're going to come and shut us down. But, and then the first AD says, okay, start the fountain effect. And this thing goes, and then, and the first spray of water comes down and hits me on the shoulders, and I, so the shaking that I'm doing is not controlled. It's not part of a performance. It's part of survival. It's my reaction to hypothermia. And wow, Are there any kids in the audience? Can I talk about my dick? Never mind. Use your imagination. It took me a while for it to reappear.
Don't leave out the part where, we made all these promises, including the fountain's gonna be warm. The one thing that we came through on was, we'll have someone standing nearby with a robe, but on these really wide, epic shots that Mark Forster wants to get because he's a filmmaker. The person with the robe has to be far, far away. So in the first take, he does this, it's fantastic, and then, it's like 5 minutes with the guy with the robe coming over before he's gonna come out of the water. And then Ron wraps up in the robe, boom. Now it's time for take 2. Ron goes back out, the guy goes over with the robe. As soon as by the end of it, as soon as they yell cut, Ron's not waiting for a robe. He's completely naked, he's just walking out. He used to be modest, now he's just coming out of the fountain.
It's what I think you goddamn shot, Mark.
So I think it's been said that your character really evolves through the course of the TV show, and your strength really pumps out. And you've got some great moments with Purnell. One thing that springs to mind, it's not giving anything away, is you slamming a mobile phone into his chest and then just bashing off
It's really great to see that character move. How did that feel to see that transition through the TV show?
I care for this character so much. I care for Jocelyn. I think that a lot of women can see themselves in her, or I hope that that's the case. And so when you're rooting for somebody and you see them get better and you see them get stronger, it's always a pleasing thing, a pleasing place to be in. So obviously I'm pleased.
And the reality is, a little bird tells me that you're actually not to be messed with, right? Israeli Defense Forces, and then you've got a strength trainer that's pretty hard-ass too. Can you tell the group about that? Because you look really sweet sitting in front of us right now, but I know the backstory and I have to watch myself.
Let's just put it this way. How do you think I was able to go head on with this guy? I have to have some external help.
She recently said to me, you know, Mark, it's hard in the heat of the summer to carry 10 Uzis through the desert. So really?
That's boot camp. I was, never mind. That was a long time ago. I did serve in the military. I'm very proud of that. I think it helped a lot to build my character. And if that's what if people want to think I'm really tough because of it, by all means, think I'm really tough because of it. I'll back it up.
Is it Ronda Rousey's strength coach?
What?
Ronda Rousey's strength coach, is that what you were with?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ronda Rousey. Are you guys familiar with who Ronda Rousey is? Yeah, she's the #1 MMA female fighter in the world right now. And a very powerful woman, very dedicated woman, and I'm very honored to say that I train with one of her strength and conditioning coaches because and whenever she's around, I become a little fangirl.
Are you going to stay for a little while longer, enjoy the sights of London, or are you heading straight back?
Well, I think the answer is probably different for each of us. We actually made a point, my wife and I, who is in the crowd. Before we wrap this up, I also want to point out that our wonderful cinematographer is here tonight, Rasmus Heisen.
Yay, Rasmus.
Take him out, Rasmus.
And we are also honored to have Peter Medak in the audience, who directed
Peter Medak.
I think we also have some of Julian Morris's family. Thank you for coming. Julian Morris, for those who haven't caught it, plays the preacher in the show, a Brit. I think it's cool to say that there's some really strong characters out there in Hollywood right now for strong British actors, and it's good to see someone like Julian really kind of making his mark.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, I did not know Julian was a Brit. That's how good he was. Had I known that, Julian would have never got the part. He blew us away, and so we wish he could have been here tonight, but we're happy to have him represented by his family. And we should also say, if you heard the song at the end of the credits, Holly Marilyn Solomon is in the house tonight. I will be there. My wife and I, although this was a quick trip and we've been obviously doing a lot of business, we made a point of extending our trip by one more day so we can see London and get a little more feel for it. So
We relay the best weather we have for you.
much appreciated.
How about the rest of you?
My husband and I are staying for almost an entire week, and we're very much looking forward to discovering the city. If anybody has any recommendations of where to go, I would love to hear it. Please.
Dana?
Sadly, I'm going to Paris tomorrow.
Poor thing.
We feel so bad for you, Dana. Ron?
The two of us will snuggle up on a plane back to LA tomorrow.
I'm going back to Hollywood where I belong.
All right, well, I think we're calling there, so thank you so much to everybody.
Thanks for watching. Why not subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the link on the screen now.